Hi, Senator. My name is Steve Winfield. I'm from Ohio. I'm a father. Like your father, I don't live with my son. I'm sorry for the situation you had with your father. I can't really speak to the circumstances of his departure from your life, but I can say that my son is the victim of involuntary fatherlessness. The media has a template, and whenever we hear about fatherlessness and trying to convince fathers to get more involved with their kids, the template says that the fathers all turn their backs on their kids. They don't want anything to do with them. We have to convince them otherwise, and if they won't, then, well, we just have to force them to pay. And that's kind of the premise of the whole child support system. It is also certainly the reason it was created in the first place, and when that happens, and that does happen sometimes, when it happens it's legitimate, but more and more in this country, fatherlessness is involuntary. Men are defendants in no-fault divorces. They did nothing wrong, but the plaintiff, their spouse, takes them to court and wins sole custody. And that's a problem, because the courts don't recognize and equally protect the fundamental rights of both parents. The states are able to create this divorce incentive to reward women for filing their divorces, and this breaks up families and creates fatherlessness where it shouldn't be. And the reason the states maintain this divorce incentive is because they want to compete for the $472 million available through 42 USC 658A. That's the Child Support Collection Incentive Program that pays states on a competitive basis based on the dollar amount of child support money that they can collect. Now, a state that has more divorces has more child support cases and collects more child support money. And so 42 USC 658A is acting as a divorce incentive. And to compete for this money, the states need people to file divorces, and it takes only one to file a divorce. So they've figured out that if they give sole custody to women 85% of the time, they'll end up with a situation where 80% of the women, 80% of divorces are filed by women. And it's simply unfair. The Constitution says equal protection under the law. The Constitution says due process. And it's clearly established that the due process requirement to interfere with a fundamental right is clear and convincing evidence of a compelling state interest, and then narrowly tailored interference to satisfy that compelling state interest. And these elements are not required in divorce courts to take a father's rights away. And that's how the states can make involuntary fatherlessness. If we want to strengthen families, if we want to protect marriage, if we want to improve outcomes for children, we need to equally protect the parental rights of both parents so that no parent can force the other, another willing, dedicated, devoted father or mother away from their children. And if we did that, if we reduced the divorce incentives, if we reduced the prize of sole custody available to a no-fault divorce plaintiff, we would strengthen marriage by strengthening families. And that would lead to positive results all across our society. And it has to happen. And nobody's talking about this, and I don't understand why. And I would really like to hear you say something about protecting parental rights and parent-child relationships against divorce. Thank you.